Alright, what's going on, everybody? Today we're doing the top 10 tools I don't think you should buy at Harbor Freight. So let's get going. Alright, so the first item we're going to talk about is the lowly Carpenter's Pencil. They're about 70 cents each at Harbor Freight, but if you go to like Home Depot or Lowe's, you can get them for about 20 cents a piece. So if you're like me and you're constantly looking for the pencil during a project, being able to buy 3 or 4 times as many from, the big box hardware store, it's a way better deal. Next up on the list is grinding and cutting cutoff discs. These flap wheels and these cutoff discs. You may think that Harbor Freight is way cheaper than the big box stores, which they normally are, but if you compare them to online prices, they are still quite a bit more expensive. I usually buy these in bulk packs of 50, and they are about half off of what you can get from Harbor Freight. So, as always, I'll post some links down below in the description if you're interested in any of these items. But buying a big old giant pack of flap wheels and cutoff discs is awesome because it takes, at least me, it takes a long time to, really work through that stuff. And you've always got something on hand. Next up is tape measures, actually. So my favorite tape measure is this green fast cap. It's my favorite because it has a bunch of amazing features. If you look, if that'll focus, it is actually a lefty-righty. So no matter which way you pull the tape from, you can always read face up what's on, what your measurement is. Not only that, but they have a place to write, measurements if you're doing a bunch of repeated cuts, or, you're inside and your saw is outside. You write down the measurement of what you need to cut, and it's got a built-in pencil sharpener. Best part is these are about $8 on Amazon, so they're very much comparable in price to most of all the Harbor Freight tape measures, but this is a much better tape measure overall. It's my favorite one. Next up, sticking with the construction theme, is chalk boxes. So these are Chalkrite from Tejima, I think that's how you say it. I'm probably butchering that because I'm from Oklahoma and this is a Japanese company. But I've had these for probably a decade. I've got a red one and a blue one for permanent and not so permanent lines. These are quite a bit more expensive than the Harbor Freight ones, because the Harbor Freight ones are like $3.99. So if you need something that's going to be literally disposable and you're going to throw it away when you're done, that's probably not a bad deal for something that, if you're out in the mud or whatever, you're going to just toss it afterwards. But if you want some really, really good chalk boxes, these are amazing. Not only do they have like an actual lock, I should have done this with the blue, but I don't know if you can see, but that string is super thin. It's thinner than even like Mason's line. They lock. They're gear driven, so you can never jam them. And because of the shape, they're supposed to work as a plumb bob, right? Double as that since they lock. These are awesome. Like I said, I've had these for about a decade. I got these when I started in commercial construction work, and they have been amazing. I've never had any problems with these. They're money well spent. But I think they're 20-something bucks a piece now. So if you're looking to invest in a good set of chalk boxes, these are the ones. So I've talked before about how much I like this Jackery. This thing is awesome. This is not what's on the list. What's on the list is solar products. So one of the things I have is this folding solar panel that I got off of Amazon. This is supposed to be a 60 watter, but the actual recommendation not to buy at Harbor Freight is solar panels and products. If you just get on Amazon, a quick search for a comparable product is usually quite a bit cheaper. I don't know, 20 or 30% cheaper. And obviously this is without sale prices or anything. But if I recommend buying the Jackery at Harbor Freight because it's like $1.99. It's way cheaper than it was last year. But for like the solar panel and accessories, get on Amazon, get on some other place, and you can pick them up quite a bit cheaper. That's what it's all about, saving money. We've all seen the wall of these types of cases. A lot of this stuff is great. This is heat shrink tubing. I've used most of it on projects recently, but the hardware, like, unless you're looking for just a bunch of hardware to have laying around, I don't see the purpose of buying a bunch of random stuff. Like, go to the hardware store, go to Ace, and get what you need. I think it's gonna be probably better quality than what you buy. It's not gonna be made of Chinesium, so unless you're looking for something specific, consumables, heat shrink, rivets, stuff like that. That's where I get all my stuff like that. But for like actual hardware, nuts and bolts, go to the hardware store. What are we doing, people? Number 7 is going to be their tool roll. I bought one recently for my son to get his stuff organized. But after we bought it and I brought it home, I was like, this thing is obnoxious. It's overly fat. It is not as good as these ones. These are the Bull tools. I've got one red, one blue, one's metric, one's standard. And you can just see it is way thinner. There's about the same amount of wrenches in here. Way thinner. And it's just like, if you're trying to store this is going to be way easier to store than this big old fat thing. Especially if you're like in a car or like a carry toolbox, like you're going to the junkyard or something. And I don't think these were even that much more expensive. But I can't remember. I bought all this stuff a long time ago. Except for these. This was about $12. And I was just very underwhelmed with what this is. The material is like super thick, which I guess is nice because it'll probably last forever. But for like putting it in a tool bag and carrying it around, not my cup of tea. This is going to be all of the automotive specialty tools. And before you flame me and say, oh my gosh, you're an idiot, all I'm saying to do is price check them. Because you can either get the loaner tool from like AutoZone or O'Reilly's. They both do that. I think Napa even does that. You can do the loaner tool program and take a chance on that, but that's usually free, so it's not that big a deal. Or, like what I did recently, I had to buy this pneumatic fan clutch set. Harbor Freight, they're about $75, and this set on Amazon was the same price as the Inside Track Club price. So, I needed it, got it delivered next day, and I ordered it while I was at work, and it showed up, the next day while I was at work. So, all I'm saying is look at some of this stuff a little bit more closely. Don't just assume that Harbor Freight always has the lowest prices, because sometimes they don't. Sometimes all the stuff gets made in the same factory, and it's some places have a little bit more markup than others. And but I do have a lot of automotive tools from Harbor Freight. A lot of the stuff is the best deal out there, especially when it goes on sale and coupons. But just price shop, or unless you just need it right then it doesn't really matter. You just got to go buy it. But price shop. Harbor Freight's usually the second or third place I check after checking to see if it's a loaner tool from the parts store, like AutoZone or O'Reilly's, like I said, or I'll price shop on Amazon before I just go out and buy some from Harbor Freight. Unless it's on sale, it's a coupon, it's a good deal. All right, next up, sticking with the automotive theme to close. We're going to stick with the automotive theme to close this out, but it is the old-fashioned cylinder bore. That thing has been basically replaced by the dingle ball. Dingle ball is way better. You can buy it in different grits. You can buy it in different sizes. This company called Brush Research, and they make whole kits. These are great when you're building engines. You can go from one grit to the next and not just take a chance on the cylinder hone and you have no idea what grit it is. Hopefully you're holding it right. This is pretty foolproof, and I'm kind of dumb sometimes, so whenever all you got to do is throw some degreaser, or I think we used diesel or something last time I used this. Spray with a little bit of diesel or oil or whatever, and run it up and down the cylinders a couple times. Idiot proof. Ask me how I know. Alright, next item. Sticking with the engine building theme of these last couple items, it is going to be this is an ARP version, but this is a tapered cylinder ring compressor. We've all seen the cylinder ring compressors that you put around, you tighten them, you hold it over, and you have to like hammer it in. Forget all that noise. If you're spending thousands of dollars probably building an engine, buy the tool that's a little bit more expensive to make your life incredibly that much easier. So the way this works is this interior ring. So this measurement here is for the interior ring. So you put it and it'll index into the cylinder, and then because it's tapered, as you push the cylinder down, all the rings will compress to the right amount, and all you have to do is guide it through and tap it in and send it home to the crankshaft. So that is what I would suggest for when you're building engines. These are way better, and if you're like me and you're like a certain type of car guy, right? If you're building an LS engine, all the 5.3s are going to have the same bore, unless you're doing machine work or whatever. But if you're building 5.3s or 6.0s, or you're building Coyote motors or whatever you're building, buy one of these. This thing's 5 years old and it's still brand new because I've only used it a couple times. But this is a tool that I'll have probably the rest of my life building Jeep engines. So that's my top 10 items I would not buy at Harbor Freight. Let me know down in the comments what I missed, and if you think that there's anything on this list that shouldn't be, or what items should be on this list. Anyways, let's have a conversation down in the comments, and I will see you next time. Do what you always do, everybody. Take care of one another. And if you like this list, I'll have another top 10 Harbor Freight type list as the link at the end of the video. But I appreciate you. See you next time.